Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So, as you can see, I'm at Bangor. I'm outside the cinema, about to head in for what might be the gayest comic book movie of the year. Yep, Venom: The Last Dance. Look, I'm not expecting brilliant things from this, I'm just expecting a very, very silly time, with Tom Hardy bickering with himself, odd couple style. So I'm hoping it'll at least be entertaining. At least better than the rest of the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. So I'm gonna head in, get my snacks, and get seated for the last dance. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and a red frozen Fanta, colour of love, perfect for Eddie and Venom's relationship, ready for the final installment of the gayest comic book movie trilogy ever. So yeah, Venom: The Last Dance. This is of course being billed as the epic conclusion of the Venom franchise, but if we know anything about how comic book movie universes work, whether or not it actually is the end is debatable because sometimes the key talent can return if the paycheck is juicy enough. See Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker 2, or if the opportunity is just too fun to pass up, see Hugh Jackman for Deadpool and Wolverine. But if this really is the end, then the fact that we have gotten to the end of a trilogy of Venom films, of which he has not once interacted with Spider Man, the very character he has created as a villain for in the first place, that will never not be funny to me. But is this a satisfying conclusion to the trilogy? Let's find out. So, following on from Let There Be Carnage, Eddie Brock and Venom have been accused of the apparent death of San Francisco police detective Patrick Mulligan. They soon naturally find themselves on the run as fugitives of the law, of which they plan to find safe haven in New York. But the journey will not be easy because not only are they being pursued by the feds and a well equipped army unit, but they're also being hunted by creatures from Venom's home world who have arrived on Earth in search of the Codex, a key which can potentially be used to free their imprisoned leader. No. So, look, at this point, you know exactly what to expect from these Venom films. Vibes are very goofy, very campy, very gay. You know, Tom Hardy bickers with himself for a bit, some good laughs, couple decent set pieces. So if you're on these movies' goofy little wavelength, yeah, you'll probably enjoy this. If you've been a hater from day one, yeah, you won't be won over this time around. This is very much for the faithful, and to his credit, there's plenty here that enjoyers of the franchise will find entertaining. Once again, Tom Hardy is having a whale of a time as Eddie Brock, just really committing to the bit of the movie's whole goofy vibe, very much playing up to Eddie's, down on his luck loser thing. And of course, there's plenty of laughs to be had from his little odd couple bickering little bromance with Venom. Even if not as many laughs as previously, there's still plenty of good jokes and comic moments to be found here. There's some entertaining symbiote bits, including the much publicized Venom horse, and some entertaining action, including one on the outside of a plane and one across a watery rapids, that are very entertaining. At times, the editing is absolutely atrocious, as of course, because this is a PG 13 over in America, they have to cut around the violence in order to secure that less restrictive rating. And yeah, so at times the action can be hard to follow, but credit where credit's due, it's actually a little bloodier than the previous two films. Like you actually see heads being bitten off in a little more detail. So yeah, they've clearly decided to relax that a bit. Since this is apparently the last of the trilogy, and overall the symbiote effects here are pretty solid. This is the most expensive of the trilogy by a hair, and you can definitely see it on the screen. So yeah, as a fun, goofy Venom movie, yeah, it's pretty good stuff. But much like the previous two, the story is where it falters. Much like Let There Be Carnage, narratively speaking, it's definitely cramming in a couple too many ideas. It's a little overstuffed, but also feels weirdly like table setting for a bigger film to come rather than a satisfying narrative in its own right. Because obviously this is doing going to lengths to build up Null as this future big bad. Of course, there's an ensemble of characters here which generally wastes some very talented performers. You've got Chiwetel Ejiofor as this military man, Strickland. His whole character is literally soldier. He stands around barking orders and occasionally shoots things in action scenes. No, I'm not kidding. That is the extent of the characterization he has been given here. You've also got Juno Temple as this scientist, Dr. Payne, and she has this sort of half-baked attempt at a tragic backstory shoehorned in there because the character would be a complete nothing burger otherwise. And you've also got the always great Stephen Graham returning from Let There Be Carnage as Patrick Mulligan for the grand total of about 3 minutes. No, I'm not kidding. Not only a complete waste of Stephen Graham's talents, but also just a complete waste of a really interesting comics character. But you know who doesn't struggle? Reese fans. Yeah, not playing Kurt Connors, instead playing this hippie Martin who's going on a road trip with the family to see Area 51. He very much knows the film he's in. He understands the assignment and just commits to the goofiness. In fact, one particular moment of song involving him, is already a better musical than Joker 2. And one dance scene not involving him, you've probably seen glimpses of it in the trailer, really solidifies this. I almost feel bad for Todd Phillips, because he went to all that trouble to make Folie à Deux a musical, only to be outdone in two scenes by the funny gay Tom Hardy alien. That has got a sting. And of course, by the time we get to the final act, there's, of course, a big, typical comic book movie action scene involving a big, grey CGI creature. And there's some emotional payoffs here, some of which actually do land. Although that very final scene, the song choice they went with could not have been more on the nose if they tried. Such a funny song choice. If you've seen the movie, yeah, you know exactly what I am talking about. And yeah, overall, Venom: The Last Dance. Yeah, if you're a fan of the Venom movies, you'll like it. If you're not, yeah, you you'll not enjoy this. But I did have a good time watching it. It very much scratched that sort of guilty pleasure, dumb fun movie itch that I got from watching the first two films. So I came out reasonably satisfied overall. And yeah, out of 10, Venom: The Last Dance gets a 7. That rating would not be high as it is if it wasn't for the good work of Tom Hardy, by the way. And yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Venom: The Last Dance? What did you think of it? What's your favorite in the franchise, and do you think we'll be getting any more of these? Because, come on, it's got to be obvious. Like the way they built up Noel here, like there's obviously gonna be more. Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.